What's up, fellas? The Goop here. Um, no episode this week. I'm just popping on for a quick minute, give a quick update. If anyone happens to want to call in, you're welcome. I don't even think I can send this here. I can. Okay. Still says sign into chat though. Um, yeah. I just a couple quick updates and then I'm out of here. Um, I know I promised that I would break down the internet, this week, but I thought that these topics would be very easy to cover because they're topics I understand so well, topics that I've thought through so thoroughly before. But I thought these through so thoroughly before, right? And it's been quite a while, and so I went through all of the nuance and all of the details and thought about it from all the different angles. And then I reached the conclusions and I threw all of that away and just kept the conclusions because it's a lot of brain space to walk around with all that nuance. So now I'd have to go through all of that again, which you would think would be easier, but is actually a lot more tedious because, there's no more puzzle to solve. It's just like every time I try and think about it in great detail, my brain really just doesn't want to because it's like, dude, you already know this. Um, so yeah, I've been grinding. I've been reaching out to a lot of people about the NAGPRA stuff, and I've gotten absolutely nowhere. I don't know if I'm gonna find anyone who is interested in this story. Um, you know, Talking about the internet and how things are hidden and all of that. Like, this is massive news, and it might just never be news at all. Like, there's the information moves so quickly, and once things are no longer super fresh, they basically don't exist anymore. It's just what's the next new thing? What's the next new thing? And no looking back. I mean, quite literally, no looking back. They've disabled the ability to search in the past, like Google. All these search engines have you used to be able to search by date ranges and older than this or whatever. That's all gone. It's just current thing. That's all you're allowed to see anymore. So something as big as America's history being made illegal might just never even be a blip. Like I have you guys watching, and all the love to you guys, but like there's like 20 of us. It's like that's not even a blip, man. If we're the only people to ever know about it, that's not even a blip. So that's a massive thing going totally unseen. So things can be covered up quite easily on the internet. But yeah, I'm getting nowhere with that. If you guys have any recommendations on strategies or people to reach out to or anything, I'm open. But I don't know. I'm getting nowhere with that. I did have a conversation with a Mormon. It's a pretty cool conversation, actually. Um, we talked about, you know, Mormon history, and he gave a nice rundown of the history, which I genuinely was not too familiar with. So now I have like a broad overview. And it's interesting because I don't necessarily think they got it all right. I a lot of what their story is, I really don't see any evidence for that, and I find it a little bit difficult to believe. At the same time, they did get a lot of things right. And the fact that some dude who was talking to angels and reading golden plates, uh, still has in many ways a more accurate version of American history than all of American archaeologists do. Uh, so that's a pretty interesting thing, I think. Um, but I asked him to come on the show, and I don't know if he'll come on. He definitely had some hesitation when I asked him that, but it also wasn't a no. So hopefully he comes on. I think it would be pretty interesting. Um, Time will tell. Time will tell. What is up, Trent, man? Um, Man, I had to wrestle a full-grown cane corso Friday night. I let my dog out in the front yard and was reading my mail, and this massive freaking monster comes charging up and tackles my deaf and severely autistic pit bull. And so I had to go wrestle it off of him. And man, I feel like I had to wrestle a fully grown cane corso. Like, thankfully, it was not aggressive towards me. Um, just wanted to eat my dog and not me. If it wanted to eat me, it might have been a hell of a lot worse. That thing was huge, dude. So that was fun. But Sam Tripoli, he was a bit of a spastic, wasn't he, on Danny's show? I might be getting him mixed up, but he wasn't the one who cut me off when I was on the show, was he? Like, he wasn't the actual guest on my episode, was he? I think he was just another spastic. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, he was yelling a lot at, like, the people calling in. I don't know much about him, though. I might reach out to Sam Tripoli. I'll give him a shot. Mark, are you Mark who? Mark PS? Mark, my family thinks I'm crazy, Mark? Or uh yeah, man. I mean, he's not diagnosed other than by me, but I'm 100% confident that he's not only autistic but severely autistic. Best dog in the world. Best dog in the Mark is gonna get it to Rogan. I didn't know Mark had connections like that. Yeah, I could reach out to Mark. I haven't reached out to Mark yet. I can definitely email him. I know he wasn't happy with me the last time I called in. I feel like I did absolutely nothing wrong. I think it was the guest who was being an asshole and not me. But yeah, he was a little salty about me telling the guest that he was butthurt about the Satanism. But yeah, I'll definitely reach out to Mark. I can give that a shot. Um, okay, so the dog having autism. Well, first of all, he's deaf, and the question I get very frequently is, "How do you know he's deaf?" I'm glad you didn't ask that because it's pretty obvious the dog's deaf, right? So how do I know he's autistic? How do you know a person's autistic? They struggle with social interactions. Um, they can't make eye contact. If they're very autistic, they're nonverbal. Um, and my dog has all of that. So he's never licked a person in his life. He's a dog, the only dog I've ever heard of that's never licked anyone ever. He really doesn't know how to interact with other dogs very well. Not like in an aggressive way. He's just very awkward. Has no interest in other animals. Great with people though. He's nonverbal. So he's deaf, but deaf dogs bark, and he's capable of barking. I have heard him do it a small handful of times, and I've heard him do it in his sleep, but he's totally nonverbal. He doesn't bark. I've had him for 14 years, and I've heard him bark less than 14 times. Um, Yeah, I don't know. He's just if you try and look at him with your bodies facing each other, like with your bodies squared up, straight in the face, he'll scream like you're hurting him. Um, he'll make eye contact. It just can't be like your two bodies squared up against. It's he's a weird dog. He's got autism, fellas. He's a very autistic dog, but best dog in the world. Um, but yeah, I think that's all for this week. I saw a lot of cool stuff. I thought a lot of cool thoughts, but everything was very scattered. Like nothing was ever on a single theme or anything. Just random cool things here and there. So, uh, yeah, no episode this week. No, it doesn't. He has a normal bark, but he does sound a bit funny though. After about 12 years old, he finally learned that he could make noises to get attention. And so he'll like yawn and make noises and stuff. And those do sound a little extra funny. But when he barks, it's just a bark. But it almost never happens. My dog sucks. My dog does not suck. My dog's the best. Yeah, my dog is hella autistic for sure, but super sweet, super well behaved, and just like naturally well behaved. I have taken this dog camping and had him sleep outside the tent, not tied up or anything, because I just know he's not gonna run away. He's a good dog. We're in strange woods, a new place for the first time. I trust him to stay right there next to me throughout the night, and he does. I can leave a steak on the ground and leave my house and come back, and that steak will not be touched because that wasn't his food. He's literally the perfect dog. He's literally the perfect dog. Yeah, he's old now, but he used to absolutely love like toddlers. His favorite thing was little kids. That was great with kids. All the neighborhood kids used to play with him, and he's very, very, very non-aggressive. The only he used to live with two other pit bulls, and he did bite one of them right on the nose one time, which was hilarious because the other pit bull would just not stop messing with him, just kept messing with him. And so I don't even think he was trying to bite him. I think it was just a bark and a warning gnash at his face. But the other pit bull kept messing with him, and it got too close, and it just like a tooth right through his nose. Big old canine pierced his nose, which was pretty funny. But yeah, super non-aggressive dog, super sweet dog. Yeah, he doesn't have a name. I call him Puppy, but different people have different names for him. My nephew used to call him Shadow because he would follow you around like a shadow. Um, I used to, when I was in college, I would take him for walks, and then when I'd run into chicks and they wanted to pet him, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, he actually doesn't have a name yet. You want to help name him?" Um, so best dog ever. Best dog ever. I got another dog too. She's pretty cool, but there can only be one best dog in the world, and it's definitely him. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in. Sorry I had nothing to bring this week. I'll be back hopefully with some good stuff next week. Um, I oh, that's not the image that I had pulled up at all. Why did that just change? Strange. Okay, there we go. That's what I was trying to show off. Um, these are some plugs from Russian dolmens up in those Caucasus Mountains. So those tiny round holes, they had plugs at some point. I never knew that. That was new information to me. There's some Mayan or Aztec writing for the land that had no writing, the civilization that built all those great pyramids and roadways and everything else. And maintained, the same main deity for thousands of years, spanning all the way from uh, Brazil to, Mexico for at least 3,000 years, but no written language. It's obviously nonsense. But yeah, hopefully I got some good stuff for you next week. Sorry, I just wasn't in it this week. So hopefully we get that Mormon on. I think it'd be fun. I genuinely enjoyed the conversation I had with him. Um, he's a South America Mormon. I'm not a Mormon, but if I were, I'd be a North America Mormon. I think I think that's where the Jews were 2,000 years ago, is North America. He thinks they were in South America. But yeah, hopefully he comes on, and I'll catch you guys next week. DNA of the pharaohs. Well, what era pharaohs are we talking about? Because Egypt was controlled by Rome for quite a while. Um, so that would make sense for certain periods of Egypt. And it's been a while since I've looked into Egyptian mummies, and I can't remember all of the details right now. They're a little too foggy, so I'm not even going to try. Um, but yeah, if you have Slav, if you go, I didn't put it in this week's description, but if you go to last week's episode, the Discord link is in the description. Feel free to hop on there, drop any links or research or topics. If you've got anything that you want me to look into, I'll look into it. And yeah, but all right, next week. See you later.